Okay, everybody, how's it going? I know it's been a long time since I've done a video, but I'm doing a quick video because something happened yesterday, and I posted something beginning of last year, and no one no one paid attention to it. I did it on Facebook, and nobody really paid attention to it. And I kind of understand why, because it was a post that, oh well. But I posted that I was more afraid of the Supreme Court than I was of the idiot that's in office. And from the time he got into office until today, and what happened yesterday, but a lot of things have been happening even before then. I mean, the fact that they granted him immunity, that was the number one. But then, other things happen with a lot of what the Supreme Court is not doing. Yeah, I mean, they did some good things, but they did a lot of things that is like, you know, questionable. But what they did yesterday was really questionable. And yeah, the voting rights finally did it. They've been wanting to do that for quite some time. There's not so much them as the Republican Party. I mean, we can just look at, what they've been doing with gerrymandering. And I really I just don't get it, except for the fact that the Republican Party are just cheaters, corrupt, liars. They just that's just who they are. And it's really bad because back in the day, not all the Republicans were like that. There were some good Republicans, that was actually, wanted to do good for the people. They weren't always about the rich and, billionaires and stuff like that. That didn't happen until, I would say, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. All of a sudden that started to change. But even then, it wasn't really so bad. But I mean, the past, ever since the idiot, got into politics, really got into politics, it has really upped. Um, and I just don't get it, people. I really don't. I really don't get it. Okay, history has proved that the Democratic Party has been for mostly for the people, and the Republican Party has, at least for the past, I don't know, 30 years, have been for the majority, been for rich people. And ever since the idiot got into office, they've definitely been for the billionaires. Not even the millionaires. I'm talking about the billionaires. I'm talking about that 1%. Okay? That's who they've been for. And I just don't get it. I mean, I really I don't get it. And what I don't get is not so much them, because I mean, I understand them because they're just greedy. That's just pure greed. Okay? The famous words that Michael Douglas uses in, what is that, Wall Street? When he uses that famous phrase, greed is good. And yeah, when it comes to billionaires, yeah, greed is good. And the thing about it is that billionaires, I'm not just talking about white billionaires, I'm talking about billionaires, because there are billionaires that are white, black, all shades, all kinds. They're their own, you know, I guess I could say their own race called billionaires. I guess, I don't know. It's like, I just, Denzel Washington said it best. You have never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. And I remember the first time I heard him say that, I cracked up because I'm like, yeah, you can't take it with you. Even though I know a lot of them wish they could. Um, and I think some family members wouldn't mind if they did that, because that means that later on, when, they're buried and everything, later on, they can go back and dig it up and take it for themselves. Because most people, millionaires, they don't really give it to their families. They usually either give it to, you know, they don't even really give it to charity, actually. But some of them do, but not, not the majority of them don't. But it's just, really, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There were 2 times in my life where I had money. The first time was when what was the first time? Um, it was when I broke my knee, and I won my lawsuit on my knee, because I broke my kneecap, and it wasn't my fault. I mean, I just stepped in a mound of snow, and next thing I know, my leg went right through. But it took like about 4 or 5 years, and I finally won my lawsuit. And I got like it was like 100, and after they did it for, I won I was like 275,000. But after the lawyers and after all that is done with, I ended up coming with $142,000, which was like, I mean, I was, whoa, hey, all right, yay. And I ended up really, I kind of I should have did some things with it that I didn't do. And I thought I was doing something good with it. I thought by investing, when I invested, well, I went to a invested company, and I invested $10,000, and I was going to get, at least $300 or $400 a month, with interest. And I did for a while, but then I ended up, didn't work, and I ended up having to pay back that $10,000. So yeah, it didn't work. But anyway, I was able to get a car, and I got a apartment, and went on vacation. Even it was just for like 5 days, but I had a really good time. I went to a play. I mean, and I was able to do things. One of the things that I was really able to do was, unfortunately, my mom passed away. This happened in 2006, and my mom passed away. And but I was able to do things for her. She was very upset with me that I did the things that I did with my mother. She was very upset with me. She was like, "Don't spend it on me, and don't spend it on anybody." And I was like, "But Ma, it's my family." And but she's like, But anyway, I did it anyway. And but at least I was able to, with the help of another family member, we were able to take care of her funeral, and and things like that. So I was quite grateful that I was able to do that. Um, and it lasted for 2 years, almost 3 years, and then, I mean, you can't you can't just spend money and think you're gonna, and not make money, and but anyway, make a long story short, it was good while it lasted. It was nice while it lasted. And then the next time was when I finally got my Social Security disability, and they gave me, it was supposed to be giving me 32 or $33,000, and but I ended up having to pay 8,000 of that. I had to pay back to social social services. I didn't realize I had to, but I did, because I signed the papers. Be careful, people, when you are on social services. Make sure even if you don't read it, get somebody to read that stuff for you, because they just handed me all these papers, and not 1 or 2 pages, 5 or 6, 7, 10 pages, you know 5 or 6 of these, and they expect you to read it and know what you're reading, and I didn't. I just signed it and said. So anyway, I ended up having to pay back, so I did. But out of that, I was able to get a car. I was able to get another car, and I had told myself, back in the day, I had, before I got my first new car, my first car was a '67 Volkswagen Bug, and it was cool. I loved that Bug, and it was an automatic, which meant you just took your foot off the gas. Didn't have a clutch, so you just took your foot off the gas and you shifted. It was a 3-speed. It was cool. And so that was my first car. My second car was a '74 Malibu that I bought from my friends, my best friends. And that car had a sticker on it. I loved it. It said, my car went to Mardi Gras. And I had always wanted to go to Mardi Gras. And I said, well, at least my car went. I never went, but at least my car went. And so I had that for like a year, almost a year and a half. And then my next car was no, I take that back. It was the Volkswagen. Then I got a blue 71 Volkswagen. This time it was a 4-speed. This time I had to shift. And I love that car. Oh, I love that car. And a friend of mine put a really good stereo system in it, and I loved it. And I didn't have to have the car on to play my music. And he put the speakers in the door so I could sit down at the ocean and play my music. And it was a cool car. It was a cool car. And the only bad part about that car that I didn't realize until after I bought it is that it had a behind the driver's seat, it had a hole in it, but that was cool. I put a piece of wood on it, and I didn't care. That was my car. I drove it around. It was beautiful, like a baby blue. Loved it. Then after that, I had gotten a four-door. I don't know if you guys remember the Rabbit. I think it became a Golf later. They called it a Golf, but it was a Rabbit, and I had a four-door one. Loved that car. It was a red one, my first red car, and I had that for like a year, and then after that, I had said to myself that one of these days I was going to buy myself a new car, and finally, when I got a job working for. I was off and on working at banks and stuff like that, and I had gotten a job working at a bank. No, take it back. I was working for the community house. Yep, and working there, they gave me one of their donation cars that they had gotten. It was a white Nissan. Cool, I love that car. That was a good car, and I ended up having that with my nephew. I think I drove it, and I let him drive it and stuff like that. Anyway, after that car, I said that I was going to buy myself a new car. I wanted at least one new car. So I ended up getting myself a Kia. And it was cool. I loved that car. Yeah, I loved that car. That was my first brand new car, brand new smell, the whole 9 yards. And I had it for like 2 years, 2.5 years. And ended up... I couldn't, after I broke my knee, because it was at that time when I broke my knee, I wasn't having any money come in, so I ended up losing it. We got repossessed. And and when that happened, I said I was never going to buy another new car, because my payments on that car was $354 a month. Back then, this is in 1997. 97, 98. That was a lot of money. $354 was, for me, it was a lot of money. So so after that, I said that I was never going to buy another new car. After that, I was going to pay outright. So my last two cars, one was a 2006 Ford Explorer, and the car that I have now is a 2008 Ford Explorer, which I happen to really like that car. I'm so glad I got that car. But I paid them outright. And I did that mainly because I do not want to have payments anymore. Okay? And so I'm not, I know what it's like to have money, and I know what it's like to not to have money. Either way, as long as I had it in my mind that I was going to be okay, it didn't matter. Yes, I would love to be a millionaire. I would love to be a billionaire. If I was to ever become a billionaire, it would be a good thing, because I'm not going to keep that money for myself. I'm going to be giving that money out. GoFundMe, all the people on GoFundMe, oh, you need it here. As long as it's legit and they really need the money, that's what I'm going to be doing. I might even start my own bank, okay? Because I hate these banks now, because they're only making money from the fees. They're charging you big time fees. When I first started working in a bank, it was $5 for overdraft. You know how much overdraft is now? Now I don't know, because I haven't had a bank account for a couple of years now, because that's a whole other story that I have. But anyway, the last time I had a bank account, you know how much it was to have overdraft? If you had a bad check or whatever, it was $31. So it went from $5 in 1980. When I first worked in the bank was in 1980. It was $5 for overdraft. Here it is. Here it is. Back then, let me see. That was in 2013, 2014. But when I stopped working at bank, yeah, okay, $31. So I don't know what it is now. How much is it now, people? Is it up to $40, $50 now for overdraft? Are you kidding me? And when I was working in the bank, I used to tell my customers, especially if they had a good chunk of change in a checking account, I used to tell my customers, why don't you open a savings account and have that savings account attached to your checking account? So that, God forbid, whenever you do a check that it may not make it, it may, overdrawn, you don't have to worry about paying charges, because if you attach the savings account to it, the savings account will automatically take care of that overdraft. So you never have to use it. That's what I used to tell my customers. Okay? Because that was like, to me, that was a crazy thing to do, is to pay overdraft when you already have a savings. If you expect, get a savings account, attach it to your checking account, so that, guess what? Once something like that happens, you don't have to worry about it. Now, I don't know what the banks are now. All right, the banks might have stopped doing that. Okay, they might have stopped doing that. I don't know, but if they haven't, to my friends out there, if you have a good checking account, get yourself a savings account. Put $1,000 in it. Leave it in it. Make sure it's attached to your checking account, so that, God forbid, if a check comes in and it's not going to cover, at least you know your savings account will cover it for you. That's all. Do that. That's my advice to my family and friends. Do that. Okay? Because they're just making too much money on you. That's what's making them become billionaires. Okay? Do that. Do that. But my point was, they're just making money for what? What are you doing with this money? What are you really doing with billions of dollars? Why aren't you helping people that need help? Okay? Why are we paying for health care? Why? This country, why are we paying for health care? Why don't we have universal health care? Why? Because of money. Because of greed. That's all it's about. It's greed. But see, they don't want you to know. They don't want to, So now with this voting thing, taking away voting away from people of color, black people, Native Americans, Hispanics, they're taking our vote. They're taking our right to vote. And it's all because of the color of our skin. And guess where that comes from? That comes from the doctrine of discovery. I've talked about this before. The basic thing of the doctrine of discovery is that people with brown and black skin, you are not capable, you are not civilized, you are not intelligent enough to hold land. So only at that time, when it first was established, it was Catholics. Only Catholics could do that. Only Catholics. So that's why it gave them justification to take land away from in Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East, in the Americas, in Turtle Island. These are all brown skinned people. Yeah, I'll take that. And this is some good land. Doctrine of discovery. And guess where the Constitution comes from? Guess where the Constitution comes from? Guess where the Supreme Court comes from? Guess where the Bill of Rights come from? Guess where law enforcement comes from? Guess where that all comes from? The doctrine of discovery. And I'm sure there are others. But basic is that. Now, I know they talk about how, Benjamin Franklin, when he saw the Iroquois Confederacy, he liked that. And he was like, yeah, he took it. But he only took what he felt was good for the colonizers. Because the Indians, they were too unified amongst themselves. So we got to use that here. But we can't use it for them. We can only use it for us. So they just took what they felt was good. They didn't take the whole thing. They just took what they felt was good. Okay? And for who? For white, male, stolen landowners. That's it. That's it. Okay? So, and here we go. The voting rights passed in 1965. And here it is, 2026. And what happened? What was happening around that time? Jim Crow? When did Jim Crow start? Jim Crow started, what, 1600s? Lasted until what? Oh, I think it's still going on today. What is it, 2020? I think it's still going on today. It's just maybe not called Jim Crow, It's called other things, like DEI. Got to get rid of DEI. Got to get rid of affirmative action. Got to get rid of it. Because that helps. That helps people of color. No. We can't help people of color. We can't. We just can't help them because that'll make them almost better than us. This new race, white people, which is actually a new race. It was never a white race. Never. That was a made-up term. And then it hung on to it. Funny. Because the white race, how many things have they taken from different community of colors? How many things have they taken from them to even establish a white race? And the funny thing about white people now is that phrase that they use. I heard a couple of races use it. White race use it. Why don't you just get your own towns or get your own schools or get your own? Why don't you just do it your own and leave us alone? And the funny thing about it is, we tried. We tried. And what did they do? How many massacres did they do of the indigenous people when they tried to live on their own, when they tried to do their own? Yeah. And black folks, oh my God, how many towns did they destroy? Asian people. How many concentration camps did they make for the Asian people to put them in because they didn't want them to? I mean, what? What? And they're still talking that bullshit today. They're still talking that fucking shit today. Now they want to start their own town in what? Was it Idaho or something? Fine, go to fucking Idaho and start your own town. But like I heard one person say, you white people, go ahead in Idaho. But make sure you don't take salt and pepper. Make sure you don't only take your mayo. Make sure that's all you take. Don't take none of the seasonings. Don't take none of that. And other things, like electricity. No, you can't have that. Yeah, you have that little bit. No. What? How crazy is that? The only reason why they did the things that they did to people of color when they did get their own is because they saw that we were happy. We laughed and we got together and we did our own thing and we were happy. And I was like, no, they can't be happy. I mean, they can do their own, but they can't be happy. No. They have to suffer. That's why when they were when during slavery time, that's why they hated the slaves, because even when they were slaves, there were times when the black folks, as long as they were together as a family, they were happy. They didn't like that. So that's why they kept taking family members away to make them suffer. And even when they did that, they still were able to get together, and they didn't like that. What the fuck? I mean, really? Why is that such a hateful thing? White folks, why is that such? I take that back. Not white folks. Racists. Why is that a hateful thing? And I'm not just talking about white racists. Because as you know, I spoke before, there are black racists. There are native racists. There are Hispanic racists. There are Oriental racists. Asian racists. There are. We've seen it. Okay? So for racists, why is it so hard for you to see people be happy? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. And God forbid if you mix. What I mean by that is if you decide to decide to be interracial, oh my God, then you're really fucked. Because then they're like, How could a white person and a black person love each other? That, ugh, it happens all the time. And one of the things that, if you really feel that way, is then why did slave owners, why did you rape a lot of the slaves, the black slaves, the native slaves? Why did you rape the women? Why did you do that? Because that had basically had nothing to do with rape. It just had to do with you wanted to, I guess, get that feeling. I don't ask me what that feeling is because I don't know. But I guess you just wanted to know what it's like to fuck a black woman, fuck a native woman. Is that what it was about? But I guess you must have liked it because you kept doing it. By yayas. You guys are really a piece of work. You guys are a piece of work. And now you want to stop us from voting. Because you know that when we vote, we're going to vote for our own. But we're also going to vote for people who want to do the right thing. And that's another thing you don't want. You don't want people who want to do the right thing. Whether they be black, white, you don't want anybody that wants to do the right thing for everybody. You don't want that. You just don't want that. So you don't want people of color to have any kind of vote, but you also don't want people who want to do the right thing for everybody. You don't want them either. Oh, sad. Sad. So what's it going to take? I kind of know. But I'm going to leave it up to you. Okay? I'm going to leave it up to you. Because I pray for the right thing to happen. I really do. I just pray for the right thing to happen. But as long as that idiot is where he's at, and as long as the Republican Party are where they're at, and as long as we have the Democrats that are like shadowing the Republican Party where they're at, I'll get to you in a minute. It's going to be a hard thing. It's going to be a real hard thing. And I'm quite taken about that. I really am. So, I guess that's all I'm gonna do because I do have I have things that's coming up that I have to be a part of. I was gonna wait and do this, but I just couldn't wait because I kept hearing things and I just didn't wanted to at least express myself now, get it out. I don't know. I may do something later on because I still have other things, other issues that I want to talk about. But that one I really want to talk about because, believe me, the Supreme Court, they need to be dismantled. And, yeah, they need to be done with because they're definitely not for us. Any of us. Any of us. They're not. Okay? And it's sad because at least that's not what I thought justice was about. You know, sad, very sad. So, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. You know, us, the ones who want the right things to be done. We just got to keep doing it. You know, we just keep praying. You know, yeah, we just got to keep doing it, and we can do it. We can do it. Yeah. I love you. If no one has told you that they love you today, I love you. You know, I love you, and we're gonna be all right. We just gotta buckle down. Sometimes we gotta get on our knees and look at the Creator. Thank the Creator for another day. Thank for the Creator for waking up. Gotta go. All right. Love you. If no one has told you that they love you, I love you. May not like you, and you know who you are that I don't like, but I do love you. Even though I may not like you, I still do love you. Okay? Because it's about love. Because love's the answer. Love is the answer, no matter what. Okay. Let me go. Peace and blessings. Muskanowish.